Well, hello and welcome to another video. And I'm having another day away on the River Severn, just north of Bewdley. And I have to say that the river's looking great. It has been up a few days ago and it's dropped back down. The colour's dropped out and it is looking great. So just waiting for a couple of mates to turn up and we'll get cracking. And so of course I'm going to be fishing for the barbel today. I've had a few goes on the Thames locally and the river's just not really in the right condition for barbel fishing. It's still pretty low and slow around Oxford area, so I've decided to travel further afield to see if I can find a barbel or two. I have fished this stretch before with my mate Rob, who's coming down to join me, with a bailiff colleague of mine, John, and I did have a couple of barbel the last time I fished it and a load of little chub. From this swim actually, but I think this time I'm going to start a little bit further downstream. I'm looking for stretches of water with a steady pace, ideally with a noticeable crease. Sort of want the water travelling at a steady pace, at sort of fast walking pace ideally. Try to avoid all these sort of boils and swirls that can often indicate snags in the water, big boulders, fallen trees, that kind of thing. And I find that the barbel like the sort of the steady, smooth glides. The bottom of the river here is quite rocky, not unlike the River Wye where I fish, and got to be prepared to potentially lose a few feeders until you work out the swim and where snags are, where the clearer spots are. But yeah, itching to get those rods out, so let's get cracking, shall we? And so this is the swim I'm fishing, and as you can see I've got the rods up quite high up the bank, and then it's a bit of a precarious slippery slope down to this area here where I can safely land the fish. But essential on any of these big rivers with high banks is a rope. I've just got one of those spikes that people use to tether dogs. It's like a corkscrew shape, a carabiner, and then some rope. I've put knots in the rope just to make it easy to hold on to, and that is a godsend on a slippery, muddy slope like the one I'm fishing today. So I'm fishing pellets, and I'm using fluorocarbon hook link, but then I'm looping on a very short bit of braid which has the hook attached to it. So you can kind of store these little very short braided hook links, stripped braid, and I just loop them onto the fluorocarbon hook link, which is about 3 foot long. I only do this when I'm using sort of small baits, small pellets, or sort of half a boilie, that kind of thing. If I'm fishing a bigger bait, I'll just fish straight onto fluoro, to be honest. But I just like that extra little bit of suppleness at the end with a smaller hook, size 10 or 12 hook. I'm actually fishing with 10mm pellets at the moment, and I'm lassoing that hair as a slip knot on there. It's actually a 3-turn grinner knot, and you can just push the pellet through that loop and then tighten that loop up. And it's a very quick, easy way to fish pellets or dumbbell shaped boilies. So there you go, pellet, 10mm pellet, lassoed onto the hair. I've kind of tied the hair sort of KD style, so I've wrapped it around the shank twice and then moved it out of the way and then carried on wrapping another 6 times below the hair, and it just sort of helps to create a much more aggressive angle on the hook, sort of around there. Then, like I say, loop to loop to fluoro hook link, and I'm going to cover that join, the loop to loop join, with a big blob of putty, like so. Well, got one. Didn't take very long either. Looks about £6, I'd say. Maybe 6.5, something like that. But let's get her out and have a look at her anyway. Well, I put a small pellet on the inside line, just on the faster side of the inside crease. And I've had a fish after about 15 minutes of my first cast. So it's a great way to start the day. 6.11. £6.11. Lovely. But quite the scrap. It's my first barbel of the sort of the new sort of river season. Well, you know, the autumn, spring, autumn, winter, and very happy to get amongst them after a few sessions on the Thames without much success. But anyway, although this has rested quite well before I unhooked her and got her in front of the camera, we always like to put these back very quickly, so let's put her back. What a great start though. 15 minutes, first cast, bosh. Well, we've had another one. This one's 8.12, and it was caught on the other rod on another spot. So the first one came on the inside line, and this one has come from, I'd say, 2/3 of the way across. Same bait, but exactly the same method. Small baits. The river's been high, and it's then dropped off again. So I'm using small baits, and so far, so good. Oh, again, they've always got lots of energy, because I do like to rest them in the net after I've landed them, but 8.12. Awesome fish. Really beautiful barbel, that. Anyway, let's put her back. Get that rod back out. So there's certainly some fish in the area. Fingers crossed we get a few more. Great start to the session though, and already starting to think it's worth the journey, that's for sure. Let's put it back. And away, as they now seem to say. Excellent. Happy days. Well, it's 3:30 in the afternoon now, and other than a couple of small chub, there's been very little action since that crazy first half hour. I've sort of worked my way through a few different baits, and then I put some ground bait out, sort of did a few casts just with the feeder without the hook link on, to get a little bit of bait out into the middle channel, and now I'm fishing over that just to see if we can sort of stimulate some action, frankly, because it's very quiet, and I think Rob's managed to have a little chub, and John's moved swims, And yeah, we're all struggling really. So hopefully it's just all about, you know, feeding times, and they're going to come back on the feed at some point. They'll just switch on and we'll get a few more, and the other guys will get a barbel or two as well. So that's what we're sort of hoping for. Had a few of these now. Looks like they've moved in. Well, it's about 5 o'clock now and I've just lost one. Another barbel. The 10-pound fluoro hook link snapped as it lunged for a near bank snag as I was getting ready to net it. So hours and hours of waiting, finally get a chance and blow it, sadly. But it's kind of interesting that it came sort of after a little run of little chub. And I've been casting the feeders out now. I switched the feeders quite a long time ago, sort of mid-morning. And I'm hoping that that's just a sign that the barbel is starting to turn up again, having steadily sort of built the swim up. So as sad as it is to lose a fish, I guess it's a good sign that there's fish back in the area, or there's fish prepared to feed again. So let's keep on going. So it's 7:30 now. I reckon I've probably got 45 minutes to an hour of fishing left. And yeah, it's been hard going today. But it's been good to get a couple of fish early on, at least. I don't actually know how John and Rob have got on. The phone signal's so terrible around here that we've not really been able to sort of communicate unless we reel in and go around and chat to each other. But the good news is I've had my first couple of barbel for the sort of autumn-winter season. So mission accomplished. So like I say, I'm going to give it a little bit longer. And of course, if there is anything of any interest, I'll add it on to the end of this video. But if not, thanks for watching and see you on the riverbank again sometime soon. Well, talk about last knockings. John and Rob are packed up and they've just come to see where I am. And I've got a 6-pounder, 610. Third fish, lost a couple, handful of chub. Nice return to the River Severn though. Happy days. Anyway, let's get her back and go get some fish and chips. Oh yeah.